Guys, it's 2025. 10 years ago, I had 3 or 4 properties and I started my journey about 14 years ago. I'm now sitting in Spain. I've got a villa under construction, which is going to be worth around £3.8 million, and that is not even for sale. I'm sat in another apartment on the coast while I'm waiting for that construction to finish. I'm currently booking a holiday to Dubai, and realistically I have over 50k a month from rental income coming in every month, with just a few WhatsApp messages a day, which I have to manage my portfolio. And the most common question I get asked is, how did I get here? And what tips can I give you for someone starting out, or maybe with 2 or 3 properties, to excel their journey and to get in the same position I am? So in this video, guys, I'm going to share with you 10 rules, 10 golden rules, which if you follow to the letter, you will be in my position. Obviously, it's going to take time, but the time passes anyway, and that's one of my rules. But 0 to 10 million property portfolio, 10 golden rules. Let's get into it. Guys, number 1, absolutely crucial, especially in this day and age where there's a lot of people chatting a lot of rubbish online on Instagram, etc., how you can make money overnight. Guys, money makes money, like tomatoes make salad, and that's one of the sayings I've got. So to get into property, to do it properly, you need money. But the good thing is, money makes money. So your biggest struggle, and certainly my biggest struggle when I was starting out at 20, and I bought my first property at 21, was saving for the first deposit. But it's a hurdle that it teaches you discipline, money management, sacrificing, and all of that. Guess what? It's going to apply whether you got 1 property or 10. I still make sacrifices today. I still have money management today. We still operate on a budget in terms of the properties or works. I don't just go and spend 50k a month on my living expenses, because then I'd be better off, I'd be in the same position as if I had a call centre job, which I came from. So it doesn't matter how much you earn, it matters how you manage the money. And the first goal is, and most clients come to me after they've done this, which is really good, is save money to buy your first property. Because after you've got the first bit of money, that money will then make money. Because what you do is you save 20 grand, I save 20 grand, maybe it's 25 grand now, again, depending on how fast it takes you. In 5 years, it won't be 25 grand, obviously, because of inflation, it might be 40. So guys, as fast as possible. And all you have to do, obviously, you're going to have a job or some side hustle or both, ideally more than 1 job, more than 1 source of income. You save, that's it. You don't spend on holidays, you don't spend on cars, you don't spend on designer clothes. You absolutely put that sacrifice in with the end goal of having that first property. As soon as you've got that initial capital, you put it into a property, you get the rent, you remortgage, you reinvest. It really is that simple. And then the first 25 grand is now making you money. It's also kind of, if you buy well and source well, it's also funding the second property. Now you have a little cycle, still keep your 2 jobs, and you can just see how the money's making itself. And the more you reinvest, guys, even to this day, I reinvest at least 20 grand a month into buying more properties or renovating, right? The more you reinvest, the bigger this portfolio grows. So it can go from 1 to 5 to 10 million. It depends how much you reinvest. If you stop at 2 properties and start spending 3-4 grand a month plus your job money, and you think that's enough, that's all you'll ever have, guys. So money makes money, but it's not in a bad way. So when people say money makes money, they think, well, of course he's got to have properties and find it really easy to buy properties because he's a millionaire and he's got money in the bank. Okay, so then obviously if he's making 50k a month, it's really easy to buy property. That is true. That is true, I'm not going to lie. We can buy properties every month, every week, etc. But it's also true when I started with 20 grand, because someone who didn't have that would say, oh, it's all right for him, he's got 25 grand, but how did I get it? I was on minimum wage job. So I've never had a job paying over probably 30k a year. So that money makes money starts from the very bottom. Even if you've got 5k, that can fund something, that can go into a rent-to-rent side hustle or set you up a website, etc. And you just stack and stack. And if you have to live at home, guys, the younger ones watching this, if you have to sacrifice holidays with your partner, you do it, because the faster you do it, the quicker you'll be there. And then this property, the first one, my first two properties paid for a car. So when I was 23, I had a BMW brand new on lease. It paid for holidays. Obviously, it wasn't as exotic or lavish as I do now, but it's still nice holidays, 2 weeks all inclusive. It paid for a nice lifestyle-ish. And more importantly than that, it enabled me to know that in 3 or 4 months, I couldn't afford another one or half afford another one. And that's how I built a portfolio. So with that being said, guys, the second one is, don't leave for tomorrow what can be done today. So fast action and money like speed. So the quicker, going back to point one, all these points interlink, by the way. It's not just one rule and then it stands alone. They're all interlinked. And if you get the mindset right and you follow all these, you'll see that they all integrate and they all work towards building a business. And at some point, guys, when you follow this, it will run itself. You don't even need to think about it. It's not like I think about reinvesting now. It's not like if a kitchen needs doing because we're going to get an extra 500 quid a month from a provider for a brand new kitchen and we have £2,000 to spend. It's not like I have to check to see if it's there. It's just the discipline that's occurred over time, that I know my reserves every month is maybe 30 to 40 grand in the account, right? And I don't need to go, I can't spend that. It's already inbuilt on me because we started with no money. And guys, if you're starting with money, it's fine, but still exercise that discipline. It's actually better if you started with nothing when you get loads of money. It's like winning the lottery. The people who win the lottery without money before, most of them, I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but I think at least 1 in 3 of them go bankrupt after like 5 years. It's crazy because they've gone from zero to here without any discipline, without knowing how to manage money, etc., without all these rules. So guys, just follow these and you'll be fine. So don't leave for tomorrow what can be done today. Fast action, money like speed. So guys, if I have a lot of people who join and who go, next year I'm ready. And I say, why is it next year? Because we've just been through a call, you've joined, you've told me you've got 15K and it took you 6 months or a year to get it. So why can't you save that 5K more, etc.? And they say, oh, I've got a holiday. I'll just ease it off this year, see what the market's like and go in next year. Guess what, guys? The price tomorrow is not today's price for anything, for my services, for property, for stamp duty, for government taxation, for rent. Rent's a good thing because it goes up, but for interest rates recently, for a massive one is stock availability. So yes, the prices might be only 5% more, 10% more every year on 100K, right? But the stock availability in the good areas where there's no Article 4, for example, where you can do HMOs, that's quickly diminishing. So yeah, you might be able to get a property next year for £5,000 more. Okay, might suit your timescale, but then, you can't do a HMO, so now it's not worth it. Or everyone's bought up that area in the northwest, so now you have to look somewhere else where the rents don't meet it. So when I started my business, when I found pockets that did really well, like in Manchester and Salford, yes, I could have held back and actually annoyed at myself. It didn't go faster, but I bought as much as I could. And I knew that at some point the party would be over, right? So, you do as much as you can as fast as possible and don't leave it for tomorrow if you can do it now, because you've only got, even the young lads watching this, right? You want to enjoy your life, you want to enjoy your money young, so why are you going to keep delaying getting that money? Because the time's going to pass anyway. So why are you not full steam ahead? Why are you saying next year, not? And okay, next year if you're doing something else with the money, like you've got another business, hardly any of them have. What it usually is next year because I want to have a 2-week holiday with my missus and spend £5,000 in Dubai. Well, you could do that anyway, guys, because as soon as you buy that house and you're making £1,000 a month, that you'll be surprised. You could go on holiday quite often, more than you can now. So, and you have that asset, and it feels a lot better when you sat on the beach, knowing you've achieved and you've got a property. And you're spending money abroad, which everyone does on holiday, and you're going back and you're getting the rent next month and the property's gone up by 20K, or you bought it 20K below market value and you can remortgage and go again. It just feels so much better, guys. I've been there myself, so I'm just telling you, all this is from experience. So guys, yeah, money like speed. that's also how you get good deals. You ring up an estate agent, I'm ready to go, or you ring me up, I'm joining, or a broker, ready to go. Want this one, let's do it. Not want this one, let me have a think about it. 3 weeks later, guess what, guys, it's gone. Even for me sometimes, even for me when I'm buying clients and I'm not sure they're quite ready and I put it off and I don't decide for them, because with my regular clients, what I'll do is I'll know they're going to take it, so I'll say yes for them, right? But with the newer clients who just joined and and ahhing, sometimes I don't. The trust is not there yet where I can just say, yeah, he'll have it without telling him first, or going through the numbers, which takes a few days sometimes with my workload. So guess what? We lose the deal. Every property I bought in Salford, probably even market value ones, I was one of the first, probably the first to offer. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes the vendor's like, you know what, he's serious, I don't need to mess about with 10 viewings. Sometimes it helps. Agents don't want to go and meet 10 people chatting rubbish, and they just don't. It's easier for them to stay in the office and go, it's sold, and once you've got a reputation, it's easier for them to deal with you than somebody, the unknown. As I say in life, people prefer what they know than what they don't. So, if you're dealing with agents and stuff and you're fast and they know you move fast and you can complete in 28 days and you're on a mission, you're going to get the deals. It's not whether in the UK, you don't give backhanders, you don't take them out for dinner, etc. It's just easier for them. At the end of the day, they've got a 9 to 5, they're going home, they just want the property sold. That's it. Don't leave for tomorrow what can be done today also applies to property management. So I'm guilty of this sometimes myself, and whenever I do this mistake or don't follow this rule, what should I say, it can backfire. So essential maintenance, putting up rents, giving Section 21s when we should have given it 2 months ago and we've just given it now because we were lazy. All these, guys, always come back around. So where we've not given Section 21s or where we've not, I'll give you a really good example. We had 3 properties ready for social housing, a provider, and it was a really good scheme. We were getting more than HMO rates, and it was, in Manchester, we get 680 a room. They were offering more than that. It was like £700 to £800 a room, right? Fully managed, no utilities, etc. We're just a bit slow. It was just before Christmas, just a bit slow with it. I was speaking to my agents who deal with it, my mate, who were also out and stuff, so it was just a bit slow. Guess what happens in January? That scheme's no longer available. There you are. So it wasn't that we were slow, actually. It was that I wasn't as fast as I probably would have been 5 or 7 years ago, okay? Kicked back, bringing in good money, got clients to deal with, lose that edge a little bit, and the scheme's closed. Not even like it's gone somewhere else, it's just that funding is gone from the council now. So things change very fast, guys. Again, where we've waited over the weekend to ring for a property, on Monday we ring up, they've got a preferred offer. Same as our offer, but it's preferred offer. It came in on Friday, they viewed it. Vendors just made a decision. We'll let you know if anything changes. Again, if I was 22 ringing for that, I'd be the first one there. I wouldn't be sat here in a villa, in an apartment, chilling out, going, I can't bother to fly back. So, guys, it's all very well being in my position now, but sometimes you do get that advantage when you are more hungry and you are building that business and you're on the ground and you're hungry for your third house. Sometimes you'll get a deal and I won't, okay, if you work towards this, okay? So, and I'm sure when I was doing that, I was getting deals which other big landlords wanted. That's just the way it goes, because they're chilling out with their families abroad and you're on the ground and you're really hungry and you can get the deals. Now, that's not to say we don't get off-market deals where they don't even go to the Rightmove. Of course we do, but it's just an example of how that can apply. The third rule, guys, and this is about thinking ahead. So when you're starting a property portfolio, there's so much noise on the internet now about, I've got, half the people come to me on a joint venture. I've got a business partner. Why have you got a business partner? What benefits do they bring? No, it's just my mate. We just set it up together. It's just more fun. Okay, fair enough. But in 10 years, when your portfolio is worth 10 mil, if you follow his rules, it could very well be. It's not worth 10 mil, it's worth 5. When you're bringing in 10k a month after a few years or 2 years, it's not 10k a month, it's 5k a month. That's a well-paid job plus a side hustle maybe. You need to do double if you're with a partner. And if you've only got a business partner because is just a bit of company on, and you can talk over the phone to them and do the deals together. I'd suggest getting a mentor instead, because with JVs, when it won't matter now, you won't see it now, because no one, unless you've experienced it, it's like one of them things you got to fall down by yourself. But what I'm telling you is, I was very close to having a JV partner, family member, a cousin, right? We still get on, nothing changed, everything's fine. But I wouldn't be able to do what I am doing now, because I wouldn't have the money every month. I wouldn't have the portfolio I've got, because it's split down the middle. We'd have to ask each other when we want to spend. We'd have to, it's just a nightmare. And you might as well, at that point, you might as well be in a job or have investors. So remember, guys, if someone is going to put money in for equity, it means that the business is viable. Property is very easy to borrow against anyway, and you could have gone to a bank and got the same money for 3%. And the fact is that when you're disciplined and you're getting money from a bank, like I do, or like I did, and I still fund deals today, you're more disciplined, you build a good relationship so you can fund anything in the future, and you don't owe anyone anything, because on land registries, your company, on companies' houses, your company, there's no investors, it's not 10 directors. So it's your own thing, and then you care about it more and your business flourishes. So just remember that, guys. Debt is way cheaper than equity. Equity, at the end of the day, is going to cost you, if you've got a portfolio like 10 mil net, it's going to cost you 5 mil. Okay, 50-50. Usually partners are 50-50. And what did they bring in at the start? Probably 15 grand is what we commonly hear, or 10 grand. My business partner's got 10 or 15. I've got 15. That's 30. Yeah, but you could have got you could make another 15 in, I don't know, 18 months. Number 4 is property is a time in the market game. What I'm referring to there is, if you start now and you do all these things and you have the money in the first place and you buy well, source well, hold, it's guaranteed to go up, guys. This is the UK and around the world. The royal family, the people very high up own property. Property is it's not like a stock, or it's not emotional. It's not like Bitcoin or anything else where it could just go down. The wealth of the royal family is because of the property they own in London. Everything in the UK is geared towards property prices. It has such a massive impact. And when the royal family, for example, own property and land, it's in their interest to make sure that it's still more valuable in 10 years than it is today. This is why they manage inflation, etc. What that translates to is that the longer you hold property, the more money you'll make. So if we go back even further than that, what that means is, if you buy, the more properties you buy when you're starting out and building that portfolio, and just hold, get the rent, live nice off the rent, and hold, remortgage, hold, it's pretty much guaranteed that it will go up 10%, 20%, etc. Now, okay, there was a financial crash in 2008, but if you look into the figures, most areas has recovered well in advance of those of the losses it made in the financial crash, which was like a one-off event, which will never happen again, because people with self-certifying mortgages, you can't do that anymore. There's loads of reasons why it won't happen again. In terms of legislation, it's in the government's interest not to let that happen again, and they absolutely won't around the world, especially UK and America, etc., even in Spain. Okay, so with that said, property will always go up in value, so the longer you hold it, the more money you'll make. So I'm so glad that I bought, and at a time when I was really young, like 22, and I could have made 100k by selling, because I bought a property below market value from an off-contact source. And maybe a few years later, after the recession, I could have sold it and made 80k because we did the in-house building ourselves, etc. That would have been quite tempting, I'm not going to lie. But I didn't, and one of the reasons I didn't is because it was very hard to sell a property as it is compared to today, number one. Number two, I didn't even think about it. And number three, I was living off the rent. But today, I wouldn't, because today I know that if I'd sold properties which I bought all along the way, even though it would have bought me a car, even though I would have had, I could have bought stuff what you want when you're that age kind of thing, or would have just blown it in Dubai, right? I wouldn't have had that again, and I wouldn't have had that double and tripling of the property price, but not only that, I wouldn't have had the rental income. And every year it gets harder and harder to buy properties in the best areas. So what I say is, you buy your property, you hold it for as long as possible. Obviously, if you're at an age where I've got some clients who are a bit older and they just want money, 25k on a flip. Yeah, obviously, because they're not going to wait. You can't save all the sex for old age is one of the sayings. It's like, yeah, you're not going to wait till you're 70, 80 to enjoy, but most of our clients starting out like 20, 30s, you can wait 10 years. And what you'll get is you'll get a good, very good portfolio, which you basically, like, to make 10 million, I bought property, rented it out and went to bed and carried on with my life, traveling, etc. Did other jobs that I wanted to do. That's it, guys. You don't have to work really, really hard in property. The money makes itself when it goes up. So time in the market. Now, if you're buying and flipping and trading, you have to work twice as hard anyway, because you have to find the next deal. Otherwise, you've made the money and it's just sat there and it's decreasing due to inflation and you've got no rental income. I know developers now who wish they had a portfolio and they're like, yeah, I made 200 grand on this house, but now it's going to take me 6 months to find another one. Then I can't touch that 200 grand because that profit's going to fund another one. Plus I have to fund the build costs, plus I have to deal with builders. I have to be in the UK, it's 18 months to build and sell. Then I have to go again, because if I don't go again and I spend that money, say I spend 20k one month, 10k another month, how am I going to fund my living? So that's my angle on kind of developing. Flipping, yeah, if you're going to, if you're getting below market value properties, you're going to sell it. But then again, if you're going to you can remortgage it. So we tend to advise clients to remortgage if they can, especially younger ones. Even though the rent might not be there yet, it might be like they're making £400 a month, but in the future, the rent, when they're making £1,000 a month from the same property because the rent's gone up, then they'll wish they didn't sell. You see what I mean? And also they're living then off the rental income, and most people want passive income now, so you can enjoy your life and get out of the UK, etc., etc. So don't rush to take profit. And the time will pass anyway, guys. So another thing I get is like, property is such a long game. Like, it's going to take 10 years to make anything, and people are doing it overnight in trading. No, they're not. For a start, one. Number two, 5 years is going to pass anyway. It's been almost 5 years since COVID. It took 10 years to build a portfolio. That went like that, guys. One of my houses came up for remortgage, it's coming up for remortgage in March, and I was like, how do I only owe 46 grand on it? And then I was thinking, like, because when I bought it, I didn't have much money, so how come the mortgage is only 46k left? And I haven't been paying it off or anything, I only do interest only. And then I realised I bought it for 76 grand or even less. I think it was 69 grand. It's in central Manchester. It's making, so it was on my last video, it's going to social housing for probably £1,800 a month. The mortgage is like less than 300 quid a month. And if I wanted to, I could pay it off tomorrow. So now when I bought that, when I was buying that 10 years ago, it didn't feel like the deal of the century, because the same money meant more then, for example, so because of inflation. Number two, the rents weren't there. The rents were like probably 650 for the whole house, 700. Obviously, I got the maximum rent by doing not social housing, sorry, by doing HMOs in that house. But even then, the rent wasn't amazing. The mortgage was about the same in terms of the price, because obviously rates have gone up. But now the next door property's on the market for like 200k, and the banks, they overvalue it sometimes when you come to remortgage. The same lender usually overvalues it. They valued it at 220. Guys, I've been to that house probably 5 times in those years. Probably 5 times properly done stuff in the house, including this time. Yeah, probably about 5 times. The time's just disappeared, and that's a bad thing and a good thing. But it's just disappeared, and you forget about that house. You go and buy your others. You live your life. Suddenly you get a letter through the door and it's like, wow, I bought that 10 years ago and I made, and then you work out how much money you made and you're like, oh my God, I'm glad I didn't sell it now, because if I wanted to, I could pull out like 100 plus grand on that and still make loads of money every month. So that's the gift of property, and that's why so many people want to get into property, because you literally don't have to do anything. If you had a business, you'd have to do marketing, you'd have to deal with staff, you'd have to work hard, you'd literally know where that time's gone. It's crazy, but property, you just set and forget. So guys, don't rush to take profit. The time will pass anyway. Even if it takes 10 years, take 10 years, doesn't matter, because it's guaranteed. It's better that than go in, do something else where it's not guaranteed. If you have an online store and tomorrow the platform closes down like TikTok, or for example, you have a competitor who's well funded, what are you going to do? You might be out of the game. Property doesn't work like that. It doesn't matter if someone buys a house next door who's worth $1 billion, Sheikh from Qatar, they have property in Manchester, for example. It doesn't matter, because it doesn't mean that they're going to pay more than you for the same property. They might pay a couple of grand more. They're not going to suddenly go pay $500,000 for that. And if they do, it's like it's happened in London and Manchester and some places, it puts your property next door up, and it's like the more wealthier people invest in an area, the more it goes up. Whereas if you have an online store, so say if I'm doing like selling experiences online or hiring cars, and someone comes into the market who's well funded from China or the Middle East, and they can afford to get the very best cars, the very best apartments, do the rates half the price to build their markets, what are you going to do? Or they spend like double your marketing spend, what are you going to do? So there you are, guys. Property is very easy, very easy. And that goes on to my fifth point, which is property is low risk and simple. Don't complicate it. We're not reinventing a wheel with property. It's like one of the easiest business to do. That's why a lot of my clients are like, they do other stuff. They're footballers. They're like doing online shops. They've got takeaways. They've got restaurants. They buy and sell cars. That's the income they're putting into property. Property is a business, but also it's a very easy business, and you're not overcomplicating it. The people who overcomplicate it, like I've got all these strategies, lease options. I've got like, can you back to back on this lease variation? Can you sell that to him and then can you sell it back and sell it again? Like, or I've got 4 people are going to put, all of that you hear online, like everything. I've got a new strategy, guys. Bollocks. Property is buy, hold, rent, like my past videos. Buy, hold, rent, and repeat. Rinse and repeat and stack. Basically, you buy something in an area like Liverpool, like one of my clients. He's bought across the road. He's going to buy another one around the corner. They're all good rental, not amazing, not bad, just good. He's young, and all he has to do is keep doing that. Put his money from his online business into that, and in 10 years, he'll have that. Simple. That's it. He's not building, he's not doing extensions, he's not doing like Airbnb on 2 different sites and like complicated stuff. He's literally putting his money from his online business, whether he makes 20 grand a year or 30 grand a year, whatever he makes, he's putting it into property, holding it, renting it for a normal rate, remortgaging it when he can, buying another one, saving, living at home. That's it. That's it. No extensions, no flips, no complicated schemes, no I'll sell this one, buy this one. It's just very simple. The simpler you keep it, the easier it is. And once you've found an area that works, right, your area, don't be afraid to buy more. Like, you don't have to buy in the same area, obviously, because you might want to spread the risk. But once you find a model that works, like we found when I was doing Salford, I found this specific houses, the terraced houses, which I could get 4 or 5 beds as a HMO. I could get them cheap, and I could remortgage them because they were mostly run-down properties. Not run-down, sorry, old people used to live in it. So it was very easy to do refurb and just get the remortgage from the bank by changing the carpets, painting. Sometimes we didn't even change the kitchen. Sometimes we didn't, we just do the bathroom. But it worked. We found a lender that would value it 25k each time. And I found the source. The source was just the estate agent manager. So what we used to do is every property like that we bought. That's it. Even when I wasn't in the UK, I'd still buy it. If I was working abroad, I'd still buy it because it fitted the model. And he was like, what are you doing with all these properties? I'm just renting them. Simple as that. And they're like, fair enough. And we rented them and kept them. And exactly the same, like I said, we got that. Simple. Nothing special about the properties. No planning gains. No, spreadsheet stuff. No, like analysing the deal and it's a few grand off. You can't buy it. None of that. It overcomplicates it sometimes, guys. Just keep it simple. Buy a property. It's going to go up. Is it a good near big city? Is there demand? Yes. Will you get lending? Yes. Can you fill it? Yep. Buy it. Simple as. Not finding the cheapest property in a village in Wales, getting it for 30k and going, yeah, I got a property for 30k, and then buying 10 of them. You're not going to make any money. We have a set criteria that I've used from day one to analyse properties. If it meets all those tests, or maybe in 6 months it'll meet it, we'll buy it. If not, we won't. So do not complicate it. Rinse, repeat. It's cookie cutter. It's volume. You can't make money in property with 4 houses. Even doesn't matter about. Forget about all the legislation, all the changes, and people say now you need to go hard or go home. Yeah, that's true. But even back in the day, you couldn't make what's £4 grand a month, guys. It's not really money anymore. So, but you want to get that volume, like 30 houses, 40 houses, even 20 houses, 10 houses. You'll make good money because you still got the same cost, but you're getting more rent, etc. And you can play about more, remortgage one. There's loads of stuff, reasons why. But how do you get there? You literally follow a process. You have a pipeline, which I'll come into the next point, but you follow this process: rinse, repeat, and stack. You don't spend hundreds, thousands to make it Instagrammable, so you can take pictures for your social media, and spend like 20k on a refurb when you didn't have to. We hardly ever do refurbs. When we do, is very basic. It's some of them, sometimes it's so basic I wouldn't even put it on Instagram because it would devalue what I do. The best properties I've got, literally some of the best properties that I've made the most money on, you'd go in and you wouldn't believe it compared to what people post online. And I'm not saying people post rubbish, they don't. So a lot of people post what they've actually done is really nice refurbs. You wouldn't catch me doing one of those refurbs. And then when people go, why? And they go, you're not very good at refurbs. I go, 1, have a look at my refurbs that I've done for myself personally, but 2, I guarantee you my property made more money than yours. Guarantee you. And they're like, yeah, you're right. Where can you find some of these? So there you are, guys. Number 6, pipeline is priceless. So people ask me, how do you go from 1 to 38 properties? How do you go from 1 to 10 properties? Because it's taken so long to buy one. And they have like 20k and they say, well, I'll come back in 6 months and we'll start. This is the difference between portfolio landlords and people who are not going to make money from property. Your pipeline is priceless. You're only as good as your last deal. Keep focused and keep growing. So what that means is you're constantly lining up. This, by the way, guys, I did this even when I had like 2 or 3 properties. Once I knew I was going to try and build a portfolio, I started doing this and it worked. So what you do is you, obviously going back to my previous points, you find properties that meet that criteria. You then offer on the properties. Not every offer is going to be accepted. Not every offer, once accepted, is going to go through. There's things that we do when we offer to make sure 99% do, but we do that for clients, etc. But with the pipeline, so you do that. So you might offer in a month on 5 properties, cheeky offers, below market value, good offers, whatever. Maybe 3 out of 4 will be accepted. It goes into your pipeline. Obviously, you can't buy 3 or 4 properties at the same time, okay, especially when you're starting out. So what you do is you're then staging each file at the solicitors. So you've got one that's going to complete now, or I don't know, it might take 3 months. But you're still saving that money. Remember, point number 1, save the money and the rental income, etc. So you're still stacking. You're buying one, then you might not have enough for the second one, so you might have to delay it, but it's still a really good deal. And guys, remember, once it's in the pipeline, once it's in that pipeline, it's going up in price because properties go up. So in 3 months, it's an even better deal. So what I used to do is get that pipeline going. So at any time, I'd have one property that I'm buying, another 2 that are going through. And I've never had the money for the other 2, by the way, guys. Only ever once I've had to drop out of a property because I didn't have the money back in the day when I was doing this pipeline. Obviously, I wasn't putting 10 properties in the pipeline. You add it up as you go. Even to this day, I think we have for myself, for my business, I have 3 properties at any one time in the pipeline. Not too much because we only buy 2 a year. But even then, I'm buying 2 a year or even 1 a year and I've got 3 properties in the pipeline because they don't all go through. But what you're doing is you're setting yourself up to keep this business pushing forward. It's like training for the next fight, okay? You've got to start training now even if you're not ready for the fight. And I've got a lot of clients who are like, I'm not ready yet. I will be with the money soon, so I want to start then. Guys, if you come to me when you've got the money, so you've got 20k now, but it's going to take you till June to get 25k, fair enough, that's life. But if you come to me in June and I start sourcing properties for you in June, it's going to be more expensive than getting them now. What the pipeline does is goes, okay, I'm ready to buy in June. We can have the contracts at the solicitors potentially May. It's now February or getting on to February 2025. So between February and May, it's going to take a month to maybe find the right deal, get it agreed, and we can delay stuff a bit. Then to arrange the finance, there might be stuff you haven't seen on your credit reports. Quite often with clients, they have stuff that needs coming off the credit report, which we deal with, or there's stuff that needs doing at the accountant. So by the time all of that's done, as soon as you've got that money, you can complete. So now instead of going June and completing in December, you've saved all that time by completing when you had the money. And guys, you'd be surprised when you're that close to buying a property and you're £5,000 short, how many people will lend you £5,000 to buy a property because they know property is secure. Okay, you could beg, borrow, and steal is what they say, but you can find that money, guys. So don't put off what you can do today for tomorrow, and that's exactly this is what I'm saying. All these things intertwine, but pipeline is really important. So even if you're like 10k away, guys, and you're halfway there, get that pipeline going. And what it does as well is it's like we've got clients now who are doing example deals, going through brokers to see what rates they can get because there's stuff on their credit, etc. So it all prepares you and you can hit the ground running. But I've always maintained a pipeline. And properties, you might get another property in the pipeline, which is 10 times better than one that you've got already. You know, you might come to us, have one property, we get you cheaper, then that property goes out of the pipeline. And guess what? Then you can start giving it to your mates. You can start giving it to other people who do property and you get a name for it. You can we teach sourcing as well, so you can start charging people 3k for that deal. Soft market, people do it. That's the pipeline. So keep focused, keep growing, keep that pipeline going, keep your toe in the market. And that's the other good thing. It keeps you on the front foot at the agents. They know that you're buying actively, even though you might not be. They know that you're ringing up. Even me with clients, the ones who shout the loudest, the ones who are ready to buy in the 2 months, Niv, just letting you know, I'm ready in 2 months, but can you start looking now? Yeah, of course, top of the list. Same with estate agents. I'm looking for this. They might ring you. It's happened to me so many times. They rang me up. They go, we've got this coming on. It happened in Marbella, and this is not even business properties or a personal one. It happened in Marbella. I went to have a look. I didn't even have any. This is 2019. I had no idea how I'd fund a property in Marbella. But I went to have a look at an estate agent, made friends with them, popped back every time I came on holiday, which is like once before COVID. That second time I went back, because I'd already viewed a property with them, they were like, we've just got this coming on the market. Do you want to have a look? It's not even on the market. Went to have a look. Got outbid. Chased it. The bidder dropped out in COVID. I was making a lot of money in COVID because I wasn't spending, rent was still coming in, etc. I got the deal. I probably made £1 million on that, or euros, €1 million. I didn't even have a clue how to fund that property or whether I wanted a property in Spain when I went to the estate agents to start having a look. Okay, it's not like buying a car, guys. It's not like they call you a time waster. It's to buy a house. It's not like buying a car. It's a lot bigger purchase, and a lot of estate agents deal with people who are buying for themselves, not investors. So they're not going to see you as time wasters. You know, when you come to me and you pay the fee for sourcing and you say, I'm not quite ready yet, we don't see you as time wasters. We see you as, well, let's secure, if something comes up next week, we'll put your name on it and we'll just delay it a bit. That's what happens, guys. So keep that pipeline going. It really does work. Next one, keep everyone happy. This is a massive one, guys. So you're going to have a 10-year journey in property. Guys who are watching this who don't have a portfolio yet, even if guys who do have a portfolio, you probably have another 10 years minimum on your portfolio. Keep everyone happy you come across. Estate agents, builders, get a power team, solicitors, we can refer the best brokers, etc., etc. We still have to keep them happy. Tenants, massive one, guys. I ran my business for many years because it's now harder to advertise online, guys. You have to pay, Rightmove, agents are competing, sponsored ads, etc. I ran my business without advertising for a good 4 years before Brexit, because it was literally, my mates come from Spain, my mates come from Italy, to come to work in this restaurant with me. Have you got a room? Yes. Add them to the WhatsApp group. Guys, looking after tenants. I'll put a screenshot on now. I had a message last night. People ask me how I get off-market deals as well. Keeping people happy. You never know where your next deal is going to come from. Last night, 11 o'clock, I'm in bed, chilling out, been to the gym, Spain, right? I get a message from a tenant I can't even remember, and I had to think back, because I've had that many tenants. I had to think back as which house he lived in, and he goes, he's from Spain, because as I said, a lot of my tenants was from the EU before Brexit, and he goes, I've got a property for sale in Marbella. Do you want me to send you details? I messaged back straight away, because I also know of agents here who give retainers or might buy it and develop it. For example, is it with agents? No, it's not with agents. He doesn't even work in property, guys. He's sending me off-market deals in Marbella. It happens in the UK all the time. That's a tenant who used to live in one of my HMOs for £380 a month. You never know where people are going to end up. I treat all my clients, everyone I deal with, estate agents, all the same, whether they're professional footballers or they're literally 20 years old and save 10k. Doesn't matter, everyone's the same. You never know. You never, ever know. I've got solicitors who became judges, for example. You just never know, guys. So keep everyone happy. Obviously, if they cross you or if they are not, they say something and don't do it, then cut that tie. You don't want people around you or in your business, but the good people, look after them. I've got build teams, my builders, who they've stayed a week in the villa 2 years ago for free. Do they do jobs cheaper for me? A little bit, but the point is, my jobs go to the top of the list because all good builders are busy. On a Sunday, they'll go out and fix something and just still get paid for it, but it's like they wouldn't normally do that. And then on Monday, they wouldn't be able to because they wouldn't have time. Sometimes in property, you need things fixing now to look after your tenants. So keep everyone happy, guys. You're never too big to deal with anyone, and you're never too small to make a difference. People, and that goes with your people as well. So every tenant, if they're good to us, we look after them, and we get referrals, we get all sorts. Sometimes we just get people who used to live in the house popping up on Instagram with a nice comment, like, how nice is that? You used to house them. I've been invited to, my first tenants, I've been invited to their wedding, just for helping them out with a place to live, like, because basically the house was full, they were here from the airport, they didn't book it in advance, they just arrived, and I housed them on a building site, a house across the road that I was renovating myself, living in it at the time because I couldn't afford, it was my second house. I was doing all the work myself. What ended up happening is the guy helped out with the work. He lived on that site and then with me, and then when the house across the road, one of the rooms vacant, they moved there. They were there 2 years. I got invited to their wedding, go to Bulgaria, etc., etc. So guys, look after everyone, and that's not just to get things, that's just in general. It just comes back around. Loads of people have looked after me, estate agents, at auctions, they've wanted me to get it, not because I'm paying any more than anyone else, just because they like you. So just look after people. The 8th one is manage, maintain and measure. This will make a massive difference to your success and to your business and to your profits. And you need to have a vision board. I don't know why or how it works. There's probably another video on a different channel which will tell you why. I don't know, but it does work. Even around just after COVID, I wanted 50k a month net clean profit, and it's taken a while, but I'm there. It just works. Don't know how, but you do also need your rent trackers, your maintenance and versus rent KPIs. So if you're spending too little or too much on maintenance, and constantly analyze all the figures, constantly iterate the business. What that means is we pivoted, I've said it a lot of my videos, we pivoted to now social housing. Why? Because we were spending too much on maintenance versus rent. Now the rent can only go up a certain amount if you're doing it on the open market. It can go more if you're doing it social housing. Maintenance is always going to go up because builders' parts are getting more expensive. So it's not even like people are putting the prices up. Inflation, builders' petrol's going up. It's harder to find people to do the job. So of course maintenance costs are going up. To change a boiler now costs more than it did 2 years ago or even at COVID. So always track this. I only realised this when I started tracking it. As I started tracking it, I said, well, what can we do about it? Well, we can go to social housing where they do the maintenance, and that ratio will disappear. The rent will even increase, and then we'll up the profitability. Because before I was taking maybe 60, 70k a month, right, rent, paying the mortgages, etc. And then, no joke, 10 things would happen in the properties, and it would cost 10 grand a month in maintenance and lost rent, etc. And headaches of phone calls. So always iterate your business. Now, it might not be the best idea for you to go social housing. You might get more in the private market, but always measure the rent. Always get the top rents as well. Always push that extra boundary. Double check what the estate agents say. For clients, we test market. We put adverts on open rent, regardless of what the estate agent says, and see how many responses we get for certain rents and see if we'll get it. Always above market rents. So constantly analyze a business, constantly look at the portfolio, constantly think, well, what can I change? Is there equity there to pull out? Loads of stuff. And guys, I partnered with we've got a new partnership deal, which I'll reveal soon, but it will literally help you do all this for free. And I'm not massive on software, but it's really, really good. So just to let you know, because before I was writing everything down in a notebook, yes, it still worked, but it took ages. And now you can, especially younger people who, used to TikTok, etc., you'll love this because it will literally show you day by day the percentages and stuff. And the more you track, the more you can perform. So manage, maintain, and measure, whichever way you're doing it. Okay, measure your net portfolio ROIF, how much you're making, how much you could make here, how much you're losing because this room's empty, etc. And it will help you grow. And the more you do that, the more you're obsessed, the more you'll grow. And then obviously you don't have to do that all the time. Now I'm not focused as much on growing the portfolio, just maintaining. So I don't look at it every day. But it's like, if you're building a portfolio, keep looking at it, keep going on Rightmove and seeing the next door sold prices. It just keeps you in the game, keeps you motivated, and it will help you grow a massive portfolio. Guys, number 9, go hard or go home. I'm sure you probably heard me say this before. It's even more important in today's market where it's getting harder and harder to operate any business, especially property. Be obsessed or be average. Guys, if you don't obsess over building your portfolio, it won't grow. If you don't focus and have that vision board and have that vision of how many you want and how much you want to get a month, it won't grow. If you come home and watch Netflix from work instead of maybe going on your phone and pulling up Rightmove and just having a look, it won't grow. When I was building this portfolio, I was looking at properties at 12:05 in the morning, every morning, including Sundays, because that's when they got uploaded. I don't even know if that happens anymore. I think it does. We get a lot of off-market deals now with the estate agent relationships we built up, but that's how I started. I would then ring up at 9 o'clock in the morning. If I didn't answer, I'd be ringing up at 10, and then they'd know my name. I'd speak to the manager. I'd get in with all the agents. I'd get personal numbers. I'd be the first there to view. This is what I mean by go hard or go home, be obsessed. Guys, some agents knew how to take it before I even rang, but the point is, I'd be the first one to see it. I was obsessed. Now, picture that to somebody who's maybe sees it a week later, rings up, has a little chat, says to the agent, I might come and have a look at it, might not, and they say, we've already got an offer, and he goes, forget it. Guys, he might have bought it for more than me. He might have offered more than me, but he's not got that determination. So go hard, go home, be obsessed. Same with the rent, same with rooms. I'm still on it with rooms now. If there's a room empty, I hate it, even because we don't have every property with social housing. It depends on the area, etc. But when I've got rooms empty, I'll obsess. I'll go on, see how many views we've got, see how many hits. I'll get my assistants to do it. I'll ring up we have different people who rent the rooms. I'll ring them up and say, why are you not pushing it? Like, guys, you still need that. So, imagine just leaving it to the agent and just letting them do it and telling you in 2 months they filled it and you're happy. Like, that's not how you will grow a multi-million-pound business. So you've got to go hard or go home. Scared money doesn't make money. I've written that under go hard or go home as well. Guys, there's been, like I've referred to earlier, there's been deals that I've done where, like, it's cleared me out, or it's like I didn't even know I could afford it or how I was going to afford it. But I just knew that I can't be scared about it. And there was a point where I was like, I've got so many rooms, what if one day they're all empty? Guys, you can't think like that. So going back to that, what if one day is all empty? Okay, we grew that big that we've got like a 50k overdraft on one business, another 25k on another one. We've got people moving in. It's all staggered. You don't always rent the rooms on the first of the month. Not everyone moves in together, so you'll always have thingy. We've got cash flow of over probably 75k a month in cash flow minimum from rental income, right? So obviously before costs. So there's always a solution, but if you let your mindset go, I can't deal with 100 rooms because what if they're empty one day? And by the way, guys, don't listen. I haven't even put this rule down, but it's another rule. Don't listen to what people say. You go into work and someone will say, well, what are you going to do if it's empty? And this family just don't pay the rent. And how are you going to, there's always, or your family might even say that. Guys, don't listen to that, all of that. Scared money makes no money. Have you ever seen someone make money without taking a risk? No, because they're stuck in the office on a 9 to 5. That's what happens when you don't take a risk. Have you ever seen someone fail overall, not like an individual business, but have you someone overall fail because they've gone out and taken a risk? Not many, not at all. Yeah, they might have failed on the first business, even like the Richard Branson, etc. They might have failed on like 2 or 3 businesses, but they find that business and then they make it, and then their money makes money, and now they're laughing. So, scare money makes no money. Just focus and you'll make money. Don't listen to people, what they say. People are going to try and put you off. Your own family are going to put you off. It's happened to me, guys, and I'm so glad I didn't listen. It's the best thing I ever did. People will say, why are you buying a house in Manchester when you only don't really know it? That's what I got, for example, because there's a mentality that you should only buy properties that you can see and that it's in your little area. That's thinking like this. Sometimes you need to think bigger. Sometimes you need to take yourself away from those environments. One of the best things I did was go to Dubai for 2 years. Hardly had any money. When I came back, I had like 8 houses and I had a normal job. So just thinking big. I used to ring up for houses on the beach after a party. So there you are, guys. Just thinking, when you see people spending 25 grand in a club, right? I'm not advocating that, but when you see your friends spending and you've got nothing, well, you've got a few grand, you've got 2 properties, whatever, you're spending 25, 30 grand in a club, you don't really think that it's a lot of money to put 25 grand on a property. But when you're in a 9 to 5 and someone's making 25 grand a year, and all your colleagues are, and they're moaning about their bills, and you're going, it's my second property, of course you're going to get hate, of course you're going to get doubt, of course you're going to get people trying to put you off it, and the reason being they can't afford it. Is one of the sayings I will finish off, apart from this one, is, and I've not even written it down, so remember this one. So what it's saying is, people only claim that the grapes are sour if they can't climb the vine, yeah? If they can't get to it, they're going to claim that there's no point because it's sour at the top anyway, because you're going to have problems renting out property. Of course you're going to have problems, but you're also going to have problems where to spend the money, and they're going to have problems on how to pay the bills, and that's the way I see it. And guys, finally, number 10, enjoy the journey. It's the best part. Believe me, when I'm laid in bed sometimes, I think of like the funny things, like, you know, oh, do you remember when we bought that house and the ceiling fell through, and one, you know, like stuff like that. And do you remember when I was bidding on that auction and then I won it, and then like there was a bit of banter, like that journey from 0 to a million, right, was the best journey, and it can't be replicated, because once you've done it, it doesn't really another house now doesn't really mean anything to me. But do you know when I was like on my 9th house or my 10th house, and I was like, wow, do you know what I mean? Or my 6th house, because the fun starts after 5. My 6th house was like, fucking hell, I'm on the way to 10 now. You know what I mean? 4 more left. And then it spurs you on, and that's the best part. When I look back at the whole journey now, yes, I enjoy. This is probably why I enjoy helping out the 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds, because they're like remind me of me. But when I'm mentoring and stuff, that's why I enjoy it. But it's because the journey was the best part. Yes, it's nice to spend the money, have the big portfolio, etc. But the fun was building that up. And if you ask anyone who's retired, they'll tell you the same thing. And I'm not retired, but, you know, they'll reminisce and have stories. And I have loads of stories. You know, when we sat around at a posh dinner of all multimillionaires, it's just storytelling, guys. So enjoy the journey, especially the younger lads watching this, because in 10 years, you'll look back and you'll go, oh, remember that tenant, and remember that, and it's just mad. So guys, enjoy the journey. It's the best part. The money will come. Focus, go hard or go home, follow all the other rules. If you want to see our property investment guide, free property investment guide, link in comment yes in the comments. We'll get this sent out to you. We do guaranteed sourcing, mentoring, etc. Do everything in-house, introduce you to the power team. But guys, really do follow these rules, and see you in the next one.